Hello, friends! Today, I'm going to tell you about a movie called Humane. Picture this. A time comes when our planet faces a severe ecological crisis, marked by shortages of drinking water and food, forcing the government to reduce the population by 20% each year. The film opens by explaining how some governments are tackling this issue by legalizing euthanasia as a means of population control. Families of those who voluntarily choose to leave this world receive substantial financial compensation, allowing them to address pressing material needs. All organizational matters, including body transportation, are handled by the Department of Civil Strategy. Society is buzzing with debates, some even publicly calling for euthanasia to be extended to minors, though such proposals still spark outrage. One day, former TV host Charles York watches his son, anthropologist Jared York, on television advocating for more voluntary departures as their country lags behind global leaders in this area. Then he goes to help his second wife, Dawn Kim, a once famous chef, prepare dinner. Meanwhile, the news reports a scandal involving Charles's daughter, Rachel York, the CEO of a pharmaceutical company, accused of severe side effects from her company's drugs. At the same time, Jared arrives at the house admiring Dawn's culinary skills and her ability to somehow get fresh fish. But upon learning of his stepbrother Noah's imminent arrival, he heads to the living room to blow off some steam. Soon, Rachel arrives with her daughter Mia, despite her grandfather's request for only adults to come. Meanwhile, Noah, standing outside the house, calls his girlfriend Grace, who convinces him to go inside to see his father, but instead, he heads toward the road where his younger sister Ashley stops him. She talks about her failed auditions for a commercial, poking fun at her acting skills. Noah shares that he's met a girl whose influence helped him quit using illegal drugs. The kids have gathered for dinner at their father's invitation, but no one understands the purpose of this gathering, so everyone's a bit on edge. Still, Charles greets each one warmly and invites them to the table, elegantly set by Dawn, who lost her restaurant. Charles raises a toast, apologizing for his neglect as a father, and everyone drinks and starts eating. But tension rises when Charles announces that he and Dawn have voluntarily signed up for the euthanasia program. The kids are outraged, insisting that the financial aspect doesn't concern them. Charles explains that while working in television, he reported on tragedies and disasters daily. Now, with the government discussing mandatory euthanasia, he wants to protect his children by volunteering for the program. Jared tries to convince his father that their family won't be affected, but Charles doesn't want to risk his kids' lives. Besides, he and Dawn found each other late in life after struggling through previous marriages and want to leave together. Noah takes the news hard and wants to leave, but Dawn persuades him to stay. At that moment, a TV report shows a couple who voluntarily departed, leaving a significant sum to their son and his fiancée, with the public thanking them for their choice. Noah tries to dissuade his father, claiming the government lies about the number of volunteers. But Jared counters that everything is fair and that migrant children even get a shot at citizenship and a home. Charles doesn't trust the government, and Dawn, who lost her restaurant due to accusations against Asian countries, now fears going outside. Ashley accidentally mentions Noah's girlfriend, but their father is only happy for his son and supports his choice. At that moment, Charles announces that Dawn has changed her mind and left. Then there's a knock at the door from agents. The kids are horrified, unable to believe their father scheduled his departure for today. Bob, the agent in charge of the ceremony, confirms this and admits he was always a fan of Dawn, though he never made it to her restaurant. Charles, explaining his wife's absence, suggests postponing the ceremony, but Bob explains that refusing would lead to the freezing of family assets and the public release of compromising details about the famous TV host known for his commitment to family values. So, you're volunteering, but if something goes wrong, they blackmail you too. Back in the living room, Charles announces he's made his final decision without Dawn, and they lay him in bed. Noah sits at the piano and plays a melancholic tune as everyone grapples with the inevitability of what's happening. Their father says the inheritance will be split equally and urges them to support each other. Bob administers the injection, and Charles dies. After Charles' body is taken away, Bob suddenly declares that per the law, he must take a second body. As agreed, Noah kicks the agent out, but Bob returns with colleagues armed with rifles. He says the family has 2 hours to decide who will replace Dawn. Jared tries to contact his influential friends, but Bob informs them that they've jammed the house's communications. To speed up the Yorks' decision, the agents take Mia due to her being a minor. She'll stay in the van until the family decides and will return to her mother once the issue is resolved. They remind Bob about Dawn and suggest finding her, but the agent explains he has a strict schedule and can't risk waiting for her capture. Refusal will lead to frozen accounts and imprisonment. The women are shocked. They weren't aware of this dark side of the procedure, but Jared knew and stayed silent. Bob explains that the names of those who refuse are published on traitor lists, making them outcasts. Jared tries to negotiate with Bob again, but the agent suggests thinking of ways to avoid disgrace, as they've gathered dirt on every family member of the deceased. For example, Jared, his current mistress, for whom he left his wife, is seeing several men a week, and his son Lucas hopes his father volunteers just to be rid of him. Jared steps aside. Next is Rachel, but she reveals her own misdeeds. Her daughter suffers bullying at school because of her mother's actions. The board wants her resignation, and she's also accused of a series of bank robberies. Hearing this, Bob tries to verify it in the database, and Rachel punches him in the nose. Bob leaves, warning that if they don't decide, the agents will intervene. Everyone splits up to different rooms, trying to find a way out. Ashley tries in vain to contact the outside world, but the internet is down. However, she finds confirmation of a money transfer in her sent messages. Meanwhile, Bob tries to entertain Mia with a card game, though the girl shows disrespect toward the agent. At the same time, Ashley finds unflattering reviews from producers about her acting on her father's desk and flies into a rage. When everyone gathers again, Jared suggests Noah sacrifice himself, as he's not a biological member of the family. After being adopted, he had new opportunities, prestigious schools, music lessons, and more. But he, the fool, caused a fatal car accident and got hooked on illegal drugs, poisoning the adoptive family's life. Ashley, however, nominates Jared. He pushes his sister and she slaps him in the face, but Noah stops the fight. He asks everyone to calm down, but Rachel mocks his attempt and the conflict flares up again. Soon, Bob is told about a flashing light and returns to the house. The family just wants to know how the agent handles such tough decisions. He suggests drawing lots. Suddenly, Rachel asks if the agents must strictly follow the procedure or if a body is enough. Bob promises to overlook some formalities. Out of the blue, Rachel admits she barely knows anyone present. They only meet a few times a year and she's not ready to die. Then she tries to attack Noah with a knife, but he dodges. She keeps trying to convince the others that this is the only way out. She turns to Ashley, reminding her that success demands sacrifice, and the inheritance share would grow significantly if one person dies. Unexpectedly, Ashley hands the knife back to Rachel, revealing that their father paid $3 million to free Noah, meaning he's already had his share. A new wave of conflict erupts. Jared raises a poker but hesitates to attack the young man. In response, Noah shifts to self-defense. Fierce clashes ensue, with both sides sustaining injuries. Eventually, Noah breaks free from the room. Meanwhile, Bob is informed they've found Dawn, which could mean the Yorks' release, but he orders her taken to headquarters and not to interfere with his work. In the house, Noah tends to his wounds, using Grace's calming technique. He tries to call her, but there's no signal, so he writes a heartfelt message and throws the phone out of the window. Outside the signal jamming zone, the message reaches its recipient. In the van, Bob suggests to Mia that her family is busy destroying each other. The girl tries to escape but is caught. In the house, Noah, armed with whatever he can find, leaves the room. He runs into Ashley, who apologizes. He plans to talk to the others to convince them of the need for unity. Noah looks at a family photo when Rachel attacks, pinning his hand to the wall. He escapes again and locks himself in a room, but Rachel bursts in and gets stabbed with a fork. Wounded, Noah crawls into the hallway where Jared stops him but takes a hit and falls. At that moment, Ashley strikes Noah. In the van, Bob tries to convince Mia he has no villainous intentions, talking about thousands who got to die for money. His own wife voluntarily passed due to illness, but the girl calls him someone with an unhealthy obsession with death. In the house, an unconscious Noah is tied up. and they decide who among the family will deliver the final blow. Just then, Grace's voice is heard from outside, having arrived right after getting the message. The Yorks, filled with hope for a quick resolution, rush to the porch. Grace makes a scene calling for help, but one of the agents shoots her. Rachel instantly realizes this is a sort of solution, but Bob insists on a second York. The family, in shock, returns to the house, determined to see things through. But Noah is nowhere to be found. They start searching for each other, but now Noah is fiercely determined. He ambushes them, stabbing, choking, and wounding all three. Unexpectedly, Rachel volunteers for the procedure, believing herself a bad person. But Jared insists it should be him, as he was a bad brother who abandoned his first wife and son, Lucas. Noah interrupts, saying no one will sacrifice themselves, and suggests calling Bob. Later, they try to stop the bleeding from Ashley's wound by cauterizing it, causing her to pass out. Bob and the agents enter the house and see the motionless girl. The remaining Yorks confront the agents, suddenly attacking, disarming, and taking them hostage. At that moment, Ashley dies from her wounds. Bob tries to break free and gets hit on the head. When he comes to, he finds himself tied to a chair, with his agents bound on the floor. He tries to intimidate the survivors, saying the government will take custody of Mia and Lucas, since their family are now criminals. But hearing this, the Yorks realize they definitely don't need witnesses. Realizing this, Bob offers to forget everything that happened, but the family admits they practiced on the agent who shot Grace and accidentally killed him. Noah begins preparing to kill Bob when the agent confesses that Dawn is at the central office. In desperation, Bob bargains and threatens, but Noah presses the syringe plunger. Sometime later, Jared, Rachel, Mia, Dawn, and Jared's son Lucas attend Noah's piano concert. A battered Bob appears in a TV commercial where government propaganda claims Ashley and Grace were longtime friends who volunteered for the procedure together. The country expresses its gratitude. What can I say about the movie? This gripping psychological thriller raises issues of modern society and offers a solution that's terrifying in its essence. As for watching this film, let's put it this way. If you've seen this review, why bother watching the movie? Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.